to this computer and see how it goes. Welcome everybody. Let's start while we're still getting a few. Rick,
maybe you should mute everybody, Rick.
Yeah, I should be able to mute everybody.
Have been installed in truly candidates for additional protection. They were removed from.
That'll do it. Okay. All right, and we'll unmute you, or you can unmute when you're ready to proceed and talk. I want to welcome everybody. This is a new experiment that Joanne has kicked off and gotten started. I don't think anything like this has been done in our district before. It's really exciting to be the first to try and stimulate conversation among our various clubs to figure out how we do Rotary just a little bit better than we've been doing it in the past. While more folks are still joining in, let's start with just a quick introduction. I will ask you to introduce according to your order on my screen. My name is Rick Harned. I'm with the Rotary Club of Louisville, and I'm just a member of that club, but I work with the district as the Rotary Foundation Chair. Yeah, Scott, can you unmute and tell us who you are?
Sure, I'm Scott Cowan, and I'm with the Hopkinsville Rotary Club in Western Kentucky. Yeah, there's still some feedback somewhere.
Yeah, still some feedback. I'll have to mute everybody again here. Okay, Joanne, unmute, please.
Okay. Hey, Joe, you're the problem. You're our back noise here. I'm not sure where it's coming from, but it's
coming from Joe McWilliams, I think.
We've identified Joe, who is one of our great Rotarians, but at the moment, clearly one of our troublemakers. I'm your district governor. I have met almost all of you, and I just want to say thank you for coming. This is your show. I'm grateful to Rick, who agreed to facilitate this on your behalf, but what we heard was that we need to figure out how to raise money. And so there are several of you that are here because you do a great job. And there's more of you that are here because you need to know more. So it's your show. Thanks for coming. And that's probably the last you're going to hear from me.
Thank you, Joanne. John Mills. Unmute, please, John.
Temperature checks as you walk into this debate hall to make sure you're not running a fever and so on. So they're taking lots of precautions.
John Mills, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you. John Mills. I am the president at Louisville Suburban. Here in Louisville.
Joe McWilliams, what program are you running there that keeps talking?
So I let you do have some new information.
We can't hear anything else with that going on.
That's right. Joe Biden spent the past 3 days off.
That'll hold. Okay. Steve Marr, please unmute.
By voters over the television. Now, the former vice president is also expecting the president.
I'm here. I'm Steve Marr. I'm the president in Franklin, Kentucky, in South Central, right below Bowling Green, small town of Simpson County.
Okay. Trying to stay out of Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jane, unmute.
All right, I'm Jane Crisp. I'm a member of the Murray Club. I'm the district trainer this year and chair of the nomination committee for district governor in 2023, 2024, and I'm a past district governor.
Vernon Gant, unmute.
I'm Vernon Gant with the Murray Club, and I'm the foundation chair for our club.
Thank you, sir. Barry Smith, unmute.
I'm Barry Smith, and I'm the president of the Paducah Club.
Okay. And Tom Morgeson, unmute.
Yes, Tom Morgeson. I am now president-elect of the Lebanon Rotary Club.
Okay, good challenge for you. Teresa Crooms, unmute.
I'm Teresa Crooms. I'm with Louisville Suburban with John.
Okay. And with Troublemaker Joe, right?
Pardon me?
And with Troublemaker Joe McWilliams.
Yes, yes, him too.
Sheila Stoke, unmute.
I'm Sheila Stoke. I'm district treasurer, and so I'm always interested in money. And I'm also with the foundation, our Prospect Ocean Rotary Club.
Janet Bowman, unmute.
Jeanette Bayman with the Bowling Green Rotary Club, president or vice president currently, and chair for public image for the district.
Okay, great. Chelsea Bramall, unmute.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Bramall. I'm the president of the Eminence Rotary Club.
Okay, great to have you. And Brittany, I don't have your last name on my screen.
I'm Brittany Hernandez Stevenson, and I'm president of the Muhlenberg County Rotary Club.
Okay, good to have you all. And then Joe McWilliams is ready to speak. You are unmuted, Joe. Go ahead.
Rick, he said in the chat that he could not hear anything.
Oh,
so he may
okay.
not have on his audio.
He may not have his audio going. Okay, that's what's going on then. John Mills, you are unmuted, or you can unmute.
Okay, John Mills, president of the Louisville Suburban with Teresa and Joe.
Okay, and Jeff Ebelhauer?
Jeff Abel here. I'm the foundation chair. Sheila, you're my kind of gal. I'm always interested in money. And so our single biggest fundraiser is not going to happen this year. And so I'm really interested in getting some ideas this evening. So look forward to this discussion.
Okay, and Robin Esau, unmute please.
I'm Robin Esau. I'm president-elect at the Murray Club. So I'm just gathering information. I'll probably be a silent observer tonight.
No, everybody gets to speak up whenever an idea isn't quite what you need to hear. That's fine. Melissa Ernest, you can unmute.
Hi, everybody. I'm Melissa Ernest. I'm the assistant governor for Area 2, and I'm with the Princeton Rotary Club, where I act as the executive secretary and the foundation chair.
Okay. And Kathy, please unmute on your iPad, and I don't have your last name.
Hi, Kathy Simpson from Danville, Kentucky, and I'm the executive secretary.
Oh, great. Okay, super. And Lisa Poole, please unmute.
Hi, I'm Lisa Poole with Rotary Club of Muhlenberg County, and I'm the membership chair.
Okay. And last but not least is the telephone connection from 859-806.
This is Earl Motzer. I'm a member of the Harrodsburg, Kentucky Rotary Club.
Welcome, Earl. Good to have you here. Okay, that's great. Well, I think that we've got everybody that we're going to get, at least for a little while. Wanted to talk about just a little bit about the complexities of fundraising for Rotarians, because we've got at least two different kinds of fundraising we have to think about. One is fundraising for the Rotary Foundation, which is where one of the ways that we get money to participate in district grants. And the other, of course, is fundraising for our own club projects, for doing the things that we want to do in our communities, in the world as well, at large, but all on our own initiatives. There are lots of ways to work on improving giving to the Rotary Foundation. And that's kind of what the Rotary Club of Louisville focuses on more than anything. Thinking about it, it's been years since we've done a real fundraiser. Mostly we talk to our members about giving to our own Rotary Fund of Louisville and to the Rotary Foundation, and that seems to have satisfied most of our recent needs because that allows us to do a fair number of things. But many clubs need to think of new ways to improve giving to the Rotary Foundation, especially if you want a better match the next district grant that you do. I think the Murray Club adds a contribution to the foundation onto your dues statement. And that's a great way to do it. Telling people about Rotary Direct, how if they have created an account on the Rotary.org website on My Rotary, they can set up a regular contribution, $10 a month, $10 a quarter, more if they want to, and just have it go directly to the Rotary Foundation for the annual fund share. Rotary has just created, just within the last month, created a brand new mechanism called Raise for Rotary. Raise, R-A-I-S-E, and you can find it at raise.rotary.org. This is a tool to encourage Rotary clubs and members to put a fundraiser on social media, whether on Facebook or LinkedIn or something else, to encourage other members, encourage everybody that looks at your site to give to the Rotary Foundation. Just like many people set up fundraisers for their birthday, Rotary is trying to do that and encourage clubs to give to the foundation. There's one caveat with this tool if you do want to look into it. You can give to Polio Plus, and that's great. You can give to the Disaster Relief Fund, and that's a fund that our district has taken advantage of to have money for the bleach makers that many of your clubs have been taking advantage of. It does not include giving to the annual fund share, which is the money that counts toward your $100 per member for qualifying for the higher match on district grants. So remember that if you do want to talk to your club about Raise for Rotary, it does not count for your district grant. It does not count for the annual fund share. Okay. In talking about switching over and talking about fundraising for club projects, I got some advice from the Rotary Club of South Oldham County that for a long time has done a very successful wine and bourbon tasting in September at the Udell Gardens there, very nice public garden. They couldn't do that this year, but they changed it to do a cocktail tasting event where people could order a set of ingredients for cocktails and then connect up on Zoom and get the instructions and get get some music and have a good time and socialize with other folks, but do it in a socially distant way. They had to change what they did, but they carried on as the same basic idea. And their advice was, do whatever you've been doing, just adjust it to the new reality. Just change it to deal with the new events. And I think we'll hear from Hopkinsville, from Scott Cowan there, that they had to do something kind of similar. So Scott is ready to talk to us about that, I think, and what they've done with their 70-year-old annual auction that I remember when I was a kid growing up there. It was a radio auction and it's gone far beyond that now. Scott?
Sure, thanks. So this year we were really concerned if we'd even be able to have an auction. And like Rick said, we've had one for 69 years. And I didn't want to be the president that did not have an auction. And so we had to get creative and try to figure out how to do it. I didn't even know up until about a month before our auction that they have all these healthy at work guidelines. And evidently there was one in Kentucky called Healthy at Work for Auctions, which I didn't even know existed. And so we got a hold of that, started reading it, and basically came to the conclusion that our auction that we've had for 69 years and have people come down and eat and bid on things. And it lasts for 6 nights. And in the last several years, we've raised $300,000 or more every year. We weren't going to be able to have guests. We weren't going to be able to serve any kind of food. We basically were going to have an auction that was all on the radio. We do stream it on our website. We do stream it on local TV, but it was going to be strictly Rotarians. We were masked up. We took everybody's temperature as they came in the door. We were still able to go out like we've done for all these decades and get our merchants to donate items for our auction. And, you know, everybody asked me, so, you know, Scott, what's your goal? I said, my goal is to make it to Saturday and nobody test positive. That was, that was kind of my goal. And, but we started our auction on Monday, following all those rules and trying to be as safe as we could. And we were able to go 6 nights. We were on about 3 hours a night every night. And by the time we got to Saturday night at 10, when we were done, we had raised $255,000 this year. And secretly, I would have been humbled if we'd have hit 180, I'll be honest. But Hopkinsville's great. Our community really came together. I think they were excited to see somebody try to put some normalcy into something. And doing it in the fall was kind of fun. We sold Boston butts out the back door. We have a grill crew that they sold 50 Boston butts every day to sell to the public. That was the way we did food. We separated it from the building. But we just were really in contact with our health department, tried to get their blessing on everything we did. Got a lot of media coverage. I know Joanne's big thing is trying to get social media and get media coverage. We were about the only game in town that week because everybody else canceled everything. And so we just tried as Rotarians to show how to lead and be creative, and just super proud of our club. And it was just a really exciting event. And they sprayed me with champagne late Saturday night. It was cold, but it was a great event. And I'm just so proud of our club and humbled by our community for the money that we raised.
Scott, tell us a little bit more about the Boston butt sale, because I think Clinton is doing something similar this year.
Yeah, so we have a group of guys that have been doing this for, I got to tell you, a couple of them, it's been a couple of decades. They're retired. Our past president, Trent, is a part of that group, and he's a past president. His father's a past president, and their grandfather's a past president. So you got 3 generations of Haddocks, Trent, Gary, and Jack Haddock. And we have a big smoker. We can load 50 Boston butts a night. They rub them down and load them, get them going with the hickory wood, lock everything up, and they go home and go to bed. And when they get there the next morning, those things are available. We're starting at about 11 a.m. and we sold them till they ran out, which was typically about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We sold them for $40 a piece, and they raised almost $10,000 that week just selling Boston butts. We just package them up and you take them home and pull them, create your pork barbecue the way you want it, and it'll feed a lot of people. So it was a big hit.
Okay, any questions for Scott? Feel free to unmute.
Okay, so I promised I wouldn't talk, but I do have a question. So the kinds of, quit laughing at me, Scott, the kinds of things that you auctioned off, what would be from the low end to the high end, and how did you get your auction items?
Sure. So the minimum item for an auction item is $50 to hit our board. We have 3 boards, and we have a big board that's items that are over $1,000. You know, Hopkinsville Rotary Club's been doing this for decades now, and we send our Rotarians out with a list of 4 or 5 merchants that they call on. A lot of times it's the same merchants every year, and they just ask our merchants to donate. And by donating and us advertising and selling their items, it's a complete donation. There's no reserve. They get advertising locally because we've done this for so long. I think a lot of our merchants really understand the impact they can have in our community, but it's everything from pocket knives to trampolines to kids' bicycles. I sold gas grills that were donated to us by the Walmart distribution center here in town. I sold, we have the Oak Grove Gaming Casino that just opened. We sold an experience. You get 1 night free and the opportunity to be the first person to ride in the pace car that leads those harness horses out. That's a cool thing we're doing. You know, we were going to sell Kentucky Derby tickets. We actually did sell our Kentucky Derby tickets, and then they got canceled. So we had to refund that money and get a refund from Churchill Downs. But it's all kinds of things. We sell country hams. We sold a diamond ring that was donated to us by a jewelry store. It's some odd things, but some really interesting things. And so it's anywhere from $50, which everybody can participate in, all the way up to a couple $1,000, depending on what it is. So it's exciting. It's more fun when we have a lot of guests down there, but we just couldn't do that and socially distance this year. So we kind of had to make it completely a radio call in. We have 8 phone workers, and you call a number and are able to place your bid. And we sold, you know, be mayor for a day for some of the kids, hang out and be with the mayor, fire chief for a day, police chief for a day, some experiences like that. Those are a big hit for the kids. You know, their parents will bid on them and win those. So it's some odd things, but it's a lot of fun. We sold 607 items in 6 days. So.
Yeah, I know a lot of clubs have been doing a lot of different things like that, both to raise money within the club and out in the community. A couple of years ago, the district governor over in Southern Indiana volunteered to shave his head if he could raise enough money for, I think that was for the Rotary Foundation, but he could also do it on any particular club project. He got a lot of interest from outside the club as well as inside the club, I think, to do that. So, yeah, I think the biggest
point I'd want to make is it's real easy the last 6 months to just say no and cancel. It takes some leadership to be creative and try to figure out how, instead of just saying no. And so I just encourage everybody no matter what you're doing or what you're thinking about doing, you can do it if you're creative. You just have to be a little more creative maybe than you have been in the past. We put a lot of good heads together and really talk through things. And I'm so proud of our club for just not giving up and saying no, you know.
Okay. Thoughts from elsewhere in the this is intended to be a conversation. We don't have lectures all lined up. I did have a couple of other speakers who have not been able to attend to tell us about what their clubs are doing, which includes raffles, it includes card draws, and a variety of different opportunities.
Yes, I'd love to ask Brittany with Muhlenberg County, if she wouldn't mind coming on, because I've seen so many clubs who are frustrated who have Santa events, and Muhlenberg County has figured out how to have a drive-by Santa event. So Brittany, can you tell us about that?
You want me to follow that? Jeez.
No. Yeah, most of us don't raise $250,000, by the way. So don't be intimidated by Scott.
No, not at all. So every year we've been having, well, I don't know how long it's been going on, but since I've been a member, we have a pancake breakfast. And what it is people are able to come in, they get tickets for the pancake breakfast. It's unlimited pancakes. We have bacon, sausage, coffee, juice, those things. And then the kids get their experience with Santa. We have a Santa Claus there. And so they're typically able to take a picture with Santa, and they get a book to take home with them after the event. This year, we are going to do a drive-through pancake breakfast. So people will still purchase tickets. They will get a to-go plate with their pancakes and sausage, bacon, drinks, whatever it may be. And we're going to have some form of a setup with Santa there and the books. The kids will still get the books. It will be outside. We haven't really decided if we're going to allow people to get out of the car with their mask on and take a picture with Santa, or if Santa's going to go up to the car. But that's just kind of how we're still trying to draw people in. We thought that it would still be important to have Santa Claus there for the kiddos to see. pretty much where we're at. We haven't worked out all of the details, but it's one of our bigger fundraisers. So we didn't want to just not have it. We want to find a way. And even though it's not all you can eat, we know that most people aren't sitting up eating 15 pancakes. The fact that it's a fundraiser, I think that we'll still be successful having people come in, get their plates, and then take their picture and still be able to.
Okay.
Well, you know, Brittany, you also can, here we go to public image, but what other year can you have a picture with Santa with a mask on? I mean, however we use the time that we're in, we might as well use it. I also know in an auction that's completely different from what you all do, Scott, David Hill, I know you're on from Owenton. Yeah, they auction off trucks and cars, for crying out loud. David, I know that you just came on. Rick, is it okay if we go to David to hear what you're doing there?
Absolutely, he's down there.
Got it. This is not David Hill. This is David Chappell. So I'm president of our Rotary. Yes, we have a long time auction that we've had. Sometimes it's in the spring, sometimes it's in the fall. And but it just depends on when our local electric company, they've partnered with us for all these, for I don't know, 20, at least 35, 38 years. And their vehicles that they're, you know, replacing and all of their others, they run them through our Rotary auction. And that's sustained us for all these years, because it has been as high sometimes as we clear $10,000 off of that one-day event. And it will be coming up here the first Saturday in November. So we're preparing for it right now. But it is one of our, that is our main fundraiser. Now we also do the pancake breakfast, and this time, of course, they canceled the Sweet On days here, so it is not going to happen this year. So we're not going to get to do our pancake breakfast.
Does anybody do a golf scramble or a golf tournament? Are you all still got to do one of those, Sheila?
We actually just finished, and we don't know the proceeds yet because we're still getting all the stuff together, but we had 18 teams, so it went off well. And so we have a golf scramble in October, and then in February we've started a music fest. We have a band and we sell tickets, and it's social and also fundraiser. We don't make a whole lot on it. No, we're actually hoping we're going to get to do it, but they may be a little optimistic. We're waiting though to see.
Hey Sheila, on the golf scramble, so how did you all make the social distancing work?
Usually the golf scramble is everybody starts at once, you know, and they're on different holes, and then they play their 18 holes. This time they actually signed in 15, each team signed in 15 to 20 minutes apart. So they were coming in and getting in their golf carts. Everybody got a golf cart. Usually there's two of the members in each cart. So we only had 2 carts per team. This time there was a couple that had 4 carts per team. So, you know, our fund, we won't make as much money, but we were able to still keep that social distancing. We had box lunches so they could come in when they came past the club, they could pick up their box lunches and head out and eat on the course. So that made it nice. And so we kept social distance like that.
And you got a lot of non-Rotarians involved, or just Rotarians?
For the actual worker bees, it was mainly Rotarians. and a few golfers, you know, were Rotarians, but we had several people from outside that bought teams. So it was a nice mix.
Okay, and again,
But we've
keeps
been
Rotary
doing
in,
Huh?
keeps Rotary in front of the community.
Exactly. And we had host sponsors so that, you know, the names of some, you know, like some companies couldn't come and sponsor a team, but they could have a host sponsor, and that gave them exposure to the members and to the golfers. So.
Okay.
Hey, Steve, I know you had your fundraiser Saturday with Franklin. How did it go?
Yes, Joanne, it went great. This was the first time that we had to go live on Facebook. We normally go out to the park and have a big event doing a Rotary reverse raffle. We sell 300 tickets a year at $125 a piece. This year we backed it off to $100 since there was not a meal, a dance, and beverages for people that wanted to attend the reverse raffle. So what we do with how the reverse raffle works is that we sell 300 tickets. We collect 50 to 60. This year we had 61 prizes to give away. So about every 5 tickets, we gave away a prize. And that ranged from anything from $25 up to the grand prize, which is $5,000. And that's the last ticket being pulled out. So we gave away a little over $12,000 worth of prizes. And bottom line, we get 2 major sponsors. We have silver and bronze sponsors too. The major sponsors they give us about $2,000 a piece. That helps out with the meal most of the time. And the bronze and silver are somewhere between, I think, $250 and $500. Our sponsors were down a little bit this year, but our expenses were way down. We probably had about $6,000 worth of less expenses this year. And this event takes about 2.5 hours once it gets started. You can watch it and maybe you learn a little bit from it. It's on Franklin Foundation, our Facebook page. It was a tremendous success for the amount of time that we had to put into it. I think we netted about $23,000. I'm looking at the numbers right now, a little over $23,000 from that few hours. But the prep time with that is that you've got to get your Rotary members involved to sell the tickets. You've got to get people together to gather the prizes or to donate the prizes themselves. And it took about 10 people to run that Saturday night. And we met for 2 days, getting the Facebook Live and getting the commercials together for the intermission times. And we had a couple of guys that did a great job. And it was, like I said, it was a very good night.
A couple of guys who know how to work on Facebook and get things up there and running.
Yes, sir. That was my biggest worry.
Okay. Do you hire them out to other Rotary clubs?
We can do that.
That's what I was going to say. You're going to be on the very short list of clubs who know how to use Facebook Live. So if you wanted, okay, so everybody had their tickets, and in order to watch, that's how they got it on. They got on Facebook Live. You've captured all of their contact information, so now you know all the people you can invite to join your club.
So Joanne, we took that information. Everyone, we got their email addresses. So we attached them to our weekly COG. So they get Rotary information on a weekly basis now. So that's how we're going to try to grow our net too for this year.
Good job. Good job.
Again, make sure Steve talks to the membership idea exchange too, because that sounds like it'll work both ways.
Yeah, it's Steve. That date is November 10th. Make sure you and your membership chair show up.
I may have to get my membership chair there. I may be in the woods that day. So
that would be November 10th.
Yes.
Cool. You know what? I would actually mention this to all of you, because those of you that I visited early on, it just came up in the last couple of weeks, the clubs who in fact use their membership committee to track comments, shares, and likes on Facebook to their posts. And if they're not in their club and it's somebody in their town who's following their Facebook, then they reach out to them and invite them as a guest to one of their meetings. So write that down, and we'll be talking about that when we do membership as well. But that's a great idea.
Steve, this is Jeffy. Boy, I forgot to mention a while ago, I'm from the Owensboro Rotary Club, but so these are some great ideas I'm hearing tonight. And I'm wondering, Steve, do you all have a charitable gaming license, or do you borrow someone's, or do you partner with somebody? How do you?
We do have, Jeff, we do have a gaming license.
Is that hard to get, Steve?
No, it's not. I'll have to talk to our treasurer. He usually takes care of that every year. And it's not very expensive. I think it's $100.
$155. We just
there
did
you go. That's it.
Yeah, it's $155. You have to fund it once because you only get one shot at funding. We didn't realize that. And then all your proceeds stay in there and you pay your taxes out of there. But it is a return that you have to do, and it is a little bit of a pain. Just to let you know, as quote Otha Ray.
I'm pretty sure the LaGrange Club has done that regularly over the years. How many other clubs are doing that, I do not know. But that's, you gotta have a good bookkeeper, huh?
Yes. We also purchase insurance too. Make sure that you purchase insurance for that night.
I would have thought that the international insurance would have covered that, but it doesn't.
Jeff, I don't think, we just wanted to make sure to have a policy for that night and that night alone, in case someone got hurt. We do serve alcohol when we have the live auctions, and we want to make sure that we're covered there.
Okay.
You know what, Jeff, though, that's a great question, that there is some sense. It would be interesting, guys, show of hands. Those of you who have an event that purchase separate insurance to do that, so I think there is a belief that the policy that RI has covers that. We all know it doesn't cover anything related to somebody if we have an event and somebody gets COVID-19, but for our other events, we think it works. But you know what, we ought to run that down and make sure that gambling or drinking doesn't put us outside of their coverage. But Jeff, under the heading of getting a gaming license, you can get a license for a day or for the year. And I got to tell you, for the next year, what's working is stuff related to raffles, to raffles. I don't know if LaGrange is going to show up, but LaGrange is the queen and king of raffles. They happen to have someone who's connected to sports somehow, and they manage to raffle off usually tickets to the World Series or to the Super Bowl, but they always offer a cash prize, which is generally somewhere between $12,000 and $15,000.
Wow.
But what LaGrange did, and I would recommend to all of you, LaGrange reached out to every club in their area to work with them in selling tickets. And Chelsea, I don't know, I know Prospect Goshen made a ton of money, and all we did, and we let LaGrange do all the work. Chelsea, I don't know if they came out to Eminence or not, but it's a way to really increase your take, and the tickets were like $20, and people were excited to buy because they even if they weren't sports fans, they were going to get $12,000 or $15,000.
Does anyone have experience with doing an online auction?
We did a couple of years ago, we tried that with our golf scramble
Yes.
and it was okay. We got some, but mainly the people inside the house were the one, you know, of course, we were still meeting at the end of the scramble to have dinner. And that's when we really kicked up those bids. But we used the online feature thinking we could do it ongoing. And since it just didn't work as well as we thought, but it may have been because we were new at it. But it is viable. It's not that. It's just, you know, getting them signed on, and it took us a little time.
Hey, Scott, can your people bid online? Can your people bid online, or does everybody have to call in?
Everybody had to call in, Joanne. It was just going to be too much. Now we did do online bidding for the Derby tickets because that event was going to happen before our auction happened. You know, our auction happened the third week of September. And so we sold our Derby tickets the last week of August. And of course, then it got canceled. But we did that through Facebook, actually. We did a really good advertisement and just everybody shared it. And we had people bid and we had a cutoff time and that's how we did it. So I wouldn't want to do that for a whole bunch of items. I think it'd be difficult, but there are people that know how to do it. It's just not me. So
I do know of a nonprofit in Louisville that has done that in connection with a dinner that they have every year, or have had up until this year. But they do all of the bidding through an online app that seems to work pretty well.
Now, I wish South Oldham was on, because they really did. As if I don't know if you heard Rick talk about it before, but they always had a huge wine and bourbon tasting event, and they did it online this time, where you bought tickets, and you could either buy a ticket simply as an observer, or a ticket where food and wine would be delivered to you, and however many people you wanted to have, let's just say in Kentucky, 10 or less people that you would have at your house. And then as a part of the event, there was somebody who took people through the wine experience, talking about the different wines that people were eating. And I think there are clubs that are doing the similar thing with gourmet cooking, although I don't know of anybody in our district that's tried that.
You've got some instructions on how to blend the perfect cocktail can also play into that, I think.
Right. I think that was part of South Oldham's too. You would get all of the ingredients, and then somebody would teach you how to do it. Now, first time out, they didn't make as much money as they thought they would, but it's so easy to do that they're doing it again in a couple of months, and try to do some better advertising around that.
And if when it's online, participants can take part from anywhere in the district, and even in neighboring districts.
Yeah, or the world. It's unlimited. It's unlimited.
Other thoughts, questions? What would you like to ask? What has your club been having difficulty thinking about?
Okay, let's talk a minute about Lawrenceburg. We were expecting somebody from Lawrenceburg.
Yeah.
Is there anybody here who does the Queen of Hearts? The Queen of Hearts card game. I tell you, Lawrenceburg has made this work better than anybody, and they're doing it through COVID. Oh, I need somebody who's smarter about this than I am. Nobody.
Yeah. The Lawrenceburg rep said something came up just here at the last minute, but she promised to send me a package of information that I can share out to everybody.
So, and the Lawrenceburg thing started, it's the classic, it's a card game, and it's really close, to be honest. You know, that we all do this in our clubs, the 50-50, you know, where there's a particular card you're looking for and you draw it, and it's the same thing. You're looking for the Queen of Hearts, and what Lawrenceburg did, actually the country club reached out to them and said to them, you know what, on Tuesday nights, nobody comes. Nobody comes. So can you all help promote people to come on Tuesday night? Well, so what they did is basically the Queen of Hearts, they sell the cards or tickets to pull a card. So, you know, everybody gets a little chit, and if your chit is drawn out of the hat on Tuesday night, then at the only place where the Queen of Heart board was at the country club. So you had to show up at the country club, and so then you ate while they were there. And so what they're doing now, I mean, they're doing it in boxes and carry out, but that's still where the board is. And you go, and if your chit is pulled, then you get to pull the card. And if nobody pulls the Queen of Heart, then it rolls until the next month. And they have made money hand over fist, and they're still making it work. And we promise that we'll get that out to you, because that's not, it's not high maintenance in order to make that work.
They would keep states shut down longer. There's a lot that we do. But we're making the same mistakes over and over again.
Okay, so the people that we've not heard from, you're not raising money.
They become decisions.
Would that be a true statement?
I'll mention a couple that we do. One of them is a new teacher's breakfast. Now, this is the first year in the last 6 that we have not been able to do this. But what we do, before the school year starts, we get with the Marion County Board of Education, and we develop a little program. What happens is the superintendent will come out, and she'll have talk for 5 minutes at our breakfast. She'll then have the principals introduce the new teachers, excuse me, and our staff. So what we do to make money, we sell tables to this breakfast to sponsors, and our sponsors are the local banks, any businesses, and we've been expanding that. And we were going to have an awesome fundraiser about 2 months ago until COVID hit. So we tried to work it out, but it just didn't work out. But there's usually 50 to 75 people that would attend because we're a small county. There's generally 25 new teachers on a yearly basis, and then the rest are administrative people, and then of course our Rotary Club and our sponsors. So that's one really good idea, and we can really expand on that by selling more tables. And the only other thing that we're doing right now is we have a cattleman's cookout. I'm sorry, excuse me, a cattleman's cookout. And in about 4 hours, we can sell, 2 weeks ago, in 4 hours, we sold 400 ribeye meals and 200 burgers and made about $1,500. And we did this, we worked along beside a nonprofit that we wanted to give the money to, which was the Marion County Education Foundation. So that's, if you have a cattlemen's association in your county and they do the cooking like this one does, it's great success. And we parked in the Kroger parking lot, and that's where we made it happen. And of course, we had a lot of social media advertising leading up to that.
And you can do that as a drive-by now, right,
Absolutely.
Brittany? Vernon and Murray, aren't you all talking about doing like Brittany doing just takeout for your pancake breakfast?
Our pancake breakfast is coming up on November 14th, and we have one of the middle school lunchroom that we can prepare the meals. But instead of coming in and sitting down and eating, they're going to be prepared to go. And so you'll have a ticket and you will go out. The meals will be brought out to you. And everyone is approved, health department, everything's approved. So unless we get spiked with a big influx or something so that the schools are closed down, that's what we're going to do.
Can I ask Tom how the cattleman's thing worked?
Sure. Well, like I was saying, there's the Cattlemen's Association. I found out there's 99 chapters in 120 counties. So that's a lot of Cattlemen Association members. It just so happens that our chapter is very organized, and that they have this huge gas grill, and they have a trailer, and this is their thing. They actually get 10% of the cut, but it's a group of semi-retired farmers, and some still very active, and they do this probably 40 weeks out of the year. So it's an amazing thing that they do for the community, and it's fantastic for all the clubs and organizations. And we were lucky because we picked up. I was the chair of the membership committee last year, and I was able to pick up a member of the Cattlemen's Association. So that's the first thing that we asked him to do, was to get us a weekend with the Cattlemen's cookout.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so Tom, I want you to think about this. I actually want all of you to think about this, but your dinners, if you'll just be open to the idea that it's amazing what you can do with Zoom. You can literally sell tables where the people who buy the table will be in somebody's home, and then that group zooms in, all of your tables zoom in to where your people are that are presenting the program about whatever program you want it to be. But making money by selling tables and then having some kind of program doesn't have to be a no. Listen to Scott Cowan. Doesn't have to be a no. It can be a yes. If in fact we have people that can help, we have people who can help set 20 tables that zoom in to a program, and then they have their fellowship, and then they can participate, but you still have the program as it is. I don't think we should abandon the idea that we can't have those kind of events anymore. They're just going to look different. But let's be real, the people who buy the tables, they talk to themselves, and the only other people they want to talk to are the people that are a part of the program. So I'm coming to Lebanon in November. We're going to talk about that. We're going to tell George I'm coming. We're going to talk about that.
Yes, I heard all about it. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Record-breaking early voting, and everyone wants to know about this and what it means.
Who else is raising money?
46 million.
I would actually, John Mills, I'd like you to take a minute, because I know it doesn't work in COVID-19, but this isn't going to last forever. Will you talk a minute about Suburban's fundraiser related to the cars? John, are you still on?
I am.
Talk about the cars. That was a phenomenal idea.
Yeah, so we had one of our Rotarians that had a connection with one of the car dealerships here in Louisville, and they brought out like 4 or 5 of their new vehicles, from cars to trucks. And what they did is they set up at where we have our meetings, at the Shrine on Bardstown Road, and they set up for, I think it was about 4 hours, and every person that we as Rotarians, we tried to get people there to test drive the vehicles. And for every person that came and test drove a vehicle, they gave us a certain amount of money. And if they test drove a second one, they gave us half of whatever the first was. And it was great. It was a great fundraiser for us. Teresa, I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, we made about $4,000 on that. Does that sound about right? If you're on.
She's muted.
If she's muted. Okay. But yeah, they, I want to say it was $125 for every test drive they gave us. And it was $25 for if they test drove a second vehicle. So they had people there, they test drove, they rode with you, they rode you around the block. If you want to go a little further, they'd let you. and then they came back and you do it again. And of course we wanted to do it this year, but with COVID, we weren't able to because they didn't want as many people coming in and out of the vehicles because they couldn't sanitize them as fast. But definitely something we'll look at again for next year.
And the people who did the test driving, I mean, they didn't cost them anything.
No, absolutely not.
Recruited people to come to test drive.
Right. So what we did in our club is we ask everyone in our club to bring 10 people if they could, friends, family, anyone they know, somebody they work with, whatever, to come, and gave them the time. And then we actually set times. We had a schedule set up to where, this one's, this group's coming at 1 o'clock, this group's coming at 1:30, that type of thing. And then everybody invited people to come. So yeah, a lot of the people that came were from the outside, cost them absolutely nothing. So.
Needs to take the temperature down in ways that appeal to the seniors who he has lost. I think that is going to be a real tall order, Aaron. I think that he is repeating.
Okay. Anybody who has not heard an idea that gives them something to think about? Raise your hand if you have not gotten something useful, potentially, out of this event.
I wanted to say something. I got a lot out of it, and I've made some great notes, and we'll talk to the fundraising committee. I wanted to see how you did the meeting as much as anything so that I know when I do mine, but great job. Thank you very much. But one thing that we have done for fundraising that it's getting off the ground, we've been doing it 2 years now, is Flags for Kids. And that's where we have 2 options to where you can either from a neighborhood with an HOA, work with them, and if they can get agreement with the each of the homes, or at least up to 60% of those homes, it's $40 a year. And we have 3 or 4 crews that we actually go out, we drill the hose, we put in PVC pipe that the actual flag poles go in. We make we make the poles that the flags are on. And we, through 7 holidays throughout the year, we have teams that go out, we install the flags for that time period for maybe 5 days. Then we come and pick them up. The residents don't have to do a single thing. It costs them $40 a year for us to display those flags for them. And then you have the solo, where it's individuals that are not in HOA. And so we sell those outright for $75. There again, we go in, we drill the hose, put everything in, and we leave the flag with them. And it's up to those individual owners to put the flags out. I leave mine out probably all the time. But that fundraising so far, I mean, I think it's around 10,000. And it's continuing to grow because when people go into these neighborhoods and see the flags, and we try to position them so that they're about the same pace going down the road, and it's just, it looks phenomenal. So we have other neighborhoods that have asked. I've got one neighborhood that we'll have to wait until after Veterans Day because that'll be our last holiday. But we'll get ready for, but it's 102 people that he thinks just about everyone will want to do it in that neighborhood. So, and that'll be continual. So every year when they renew, it's $40 for each one again. So it is manpower, but we've got some great volunteers right now, and we'll just continue to grow it. And it's threefold, where we're raising money, but we're also representing the Rotary Club in a great way. So for me, public image, it speaks for itself when people say, where did you get your flag? And say the Rotary Club put it out for us. So, and it's just representation for the club. So that's my 2 cents.
Jeanette, how tall are these flagpoles that you all install?
These are 10 foot. And so by the time you put them in the ground, they're about 7.5, because we put 15-inch PVC pipe that the fit is, I mean, it's a glove. It fits down in there, and we just leave a cap of that PVC that's only about, it's up maybe an inch so you can see it. And for those that are in neighborhoods, we actually mark, we get maybe 2 feet from the road, and we will mark the road with a triangle. to let us know where to look for those. And I tell people that when they get the solos, to do the same thing if it's in the yard, is to mark, and we will mark it for them if they'll let us. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing when they're all out. So we get a lot of comments, and I just hope it continues to grow.
How many years have you all been doing this?
Just two.
Just two.
So we've actually gone through one full year and then half of the other. So yeah.
Okay, you put them out on 5 different holidays.
7.
Seven holidays: President's
7
Day,
holidays.
Memorial Day, Veterans Day, Flag Day, 4th of July.
Yeah, and then I was going to say, I can't remember, but it starts May and then it comes on around. And then, like I said, November 15th, Veterans Day will be the last one. And we have a wonderful business here in town that lets us store the flags in their basement of the business. And so we have those sectioned out for each neighborhood so that we have them, you know, names tagged. So it makes it easy when we go to pick up, we pick up that group, take it, and we hope that it always evens out correctly so that what house did we miss? And we've had to drive around a couple of times, but it's just so beautiful to see it. So
tell them about the Rotarian that really got involved in this, that has the plane that he flew there. I think that's a neat story. Everybody ought to hear that.
Well, it's General Dan Cherry is who, he had seen this somewhere and came back to the club, and he was so inspired. He's retired general. He's flown combat. It's been many years ago. He shot down. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember all the details of him, but
yeah, you're right. That's what he did.
But he was so inspired to do this, and he's 80, and he is out there on the drill team. When we go out to drill, he's there, and he makes sure that we do exactly what we're supposed to do. But I think there's 3 or 4 teams right now that we go out drill, and then you know, I have a certain area that I'm responsible for, and I'll get, you know, 1 or 2 people to go with me to make sure they get put up. But it's growing, and I think it will continue to grow because the visibility, and we've had these yard signs made because we know a lot of people had no idea where those flags were coming from. So now we have Rotary yard signs that say flags for kids, and, you know, phone number and email address to contact. And then we send out an 811 team to make sure that all the, you know, your Atmos and your, you know, wire, you know, underground utilities, or we know where the placement is. So we do that. One thing to watch out for, that unless you talk to that person living there or the neighborhood, is sprinkler systems. We had a sprinkler system. But so yeah, we've learned to ask that question too.
And the plane that he flown in that combat, I think, has come back to Bowling Green and is out to the park. Isn't that right, Jeanette? Yes,
we've got we've got about six or seven planes and helicopters from generals, I mean, it's a beautiful display, and they're of course they're asking for our help to kind of partner with some things with that also. But Aviation Heritage Park. So it's but yes, he does, and he's got some great stories. And there's been he made friends with a Japanese that he shot down. I think it was Japanese, or I don't remember. And but they ended up meeting and have become friends. But yeah, there were some stories written about that.
With Zoom, do you think he might be willing to do a program for another Rotary Club?
I know he would. He is so
he loves it.
You can
Yes,
just
he
gotta
would.
find a way to shut him up, is that it?
If Frank, he'll adhere to it. But he is extremely passionate. But and we have all kinds of. I have pamphlets I can email out to anybody that have all the details. So, you know, you're more welcome to reach out to me. I'll be glad to email it to you, both the solo and for the neighborhood.
And Rick, that's what I'd like actually for us to offer to do is for clearly for the people who are on tonight and actually for anybody who signed up, if we could provide this group with a list of the people that were on and their club. You all know how to use DACDB. You can find them. Go into DACDB and get their contact information, but let folks know who is on and what club they're from, so that if somebody talked about something that you want to know more about, you can reach out to them individually. And then this is being recorded, so we'll figure it's going to go out on YouTube, I think is what you said.
Well, we're going to see if Lee can tell us how to do it in a private YouTube channel that would only be available to district Rotarians. Yeah, who have the link that we can send out.
So, and I'm actually going to hop off here in a minute. For those, there's so many of you that are presidents, and thank you. And for your foundation chairs and anybody else that showed up, thank you very much. Don't forget, for the next 5 weeks, we're doing this. Next week is service. The week after is public image. The week after that is membership. And then it's youth service. And this is what we're going to do. This is we're simply going to exchange ideas here from folks that are doing stuff now, so that, as Scott said, it may be a little more imaginative, but there's no reason to say no. We just keep moving ahead. Thank you all. Thank you, Rick. Thank you very much for doing a great job. And
we got a great Rotary district and a lot of good people with a lot of good ideas. And maybe now we're even learning it's easy to get to know each other and learn from each other. And that's great. So, thanks everybody for taking part. It was good to see you and good to hear from you.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you, Rick.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Rick. Thank you, Rick.
Yep. Bye-bye.